this final part of the mini-series on diatonic arpeggio exercises, I just wanted to talk you through finding suitable fingerings for working off the 6th string for each root note. Because of the tuning of the guitar, 2-octave patterns rooted off the 6th string can cause a bit more confusion than those rooted off the 5th string. And this is mainly because there are more fingering options available. This problem of having too many fingering options is quite common in guitar playing generally. And my advice when confronted with this problem is to quickly pin down one approach and one approach only. So now let's show you how I apply this principle to working out a pathway through the diatonic arpeggios rooted off the 6th string. We'll use the key of G as our demonstration key. The first octave for the major 7th shape you'll see is the same as the one we've been using up to now for the C major 7th. Simply starting on the 6th string on the note G. So I'm starting on my 2nd finger, but to remember how the top half goes, instead of thinking of the A major 7th shape, that we use for the C major 7th shape, I think instead of this movable F major 7th shape. So I can play this arpeggio just as a straight diagonal line across there and then land on the top root note there. So altogether that's to link to the A minor 7th arpeggio, and for this I reference the stock standard movable bar chord, the minor 7th 6th string rooted bar chord shape. This translates into an arpeggio pattern that looks like this. Terminating here on the flat 7th note at fret 8 on the 2nd string. But immediately we hit a bit of a problem with this, because we actually need to play this arpeggio descending from this note. And this gives us a bit of a problem, because we need to jump to there from the top end of our G major 7th there, and that's clearly a little bit too far of a jump. For me, the solution is to find this same note, a G in this case, on the top string back here in the position we're in with our major 7th arpeggio. I then slide into that note with my 1st finger and come down the arpeggio by using my 3rd finger, my 1st finger, and back into the position like that. So that's up the major 7th, down the minor 7th. The B minor 7th arpeggio ascending after that presents no problem. Just moving the 1st finger up. But notice this time I do use the pinky on the 2nd string to play that flat 7th note. Then we have an unusual transition to the 4 chord, which is C major 7th in this case, which we could achieve with no shift of fingering position at all, just by grabbing that 7th note relative to C with our first finger there and coming straight down the same pattern as we used for the G major 7th just now. So we've come up our B minor 7th, straight down our C major 7th. The ascending D dominant 7th arpeggio starts off similarly to the major 7th arpeggio, but I then advise a fingering shift as we arrive at the 4th string, shifting this first finger up a fret, and this will help facilitate our link to the next chord, which is our descending E minor 7th arpeggio, which we can work exactly the same as we did with the B minor 7th, but in reverse, coming down from the flat 7th note at fret 15 on the 2nd string here with the pinky. So that pair again, D dominant 7th, finger shift, slide up 2 frets, come down E minor 7th. Now, if you haven't yet done so, I strongly suggest stopping the video and rewinding it if needed to consolidate at this point, because things are going to get a little trickier after this. Okay, so we've played up the G major 7th, down the A minor 7th, up the B minor 7th, down the C major 7th, up the D dominant 7th, down the E minor 7th. The next chord is the F sharp minor 7 flat 5, which I advise starting on the 3rd finger. So we're at fret 14 on the 6th string, and we start with this characteristic kite shape. But notice that I'm shifting my 2nd finger up to grab that last note. So that's 3rd finger, 14th fret 6th string, 1st finger 12th fret 5th string, pinky on the 15th fret 5th string, and then 2nd finger 14th fret on the 4th string, and this makes it easier to access the end of the 1st octave with the pinky there at fret 16 on the D string. So that's the 1st octave. The next octave continues with the 2nd finger on the 3rd string, the 1st finger on the 2nd string, then a deliberate stretch up to fret 17 on the 2nd string here with the pinky, which I want you to notice helps us line ourselves up for the start of the next arpeggio, descending with our 1st finger from fret 14 on the top string for our G major 7th arpeggio like that. Here's that whole upwards run again in slow motion. with our A string rooted arpeggio series, we come back down the run. So we finish with our G major 7, then we come back down to F sharp, then so on down the E minor 7, D, C major 7, B minor 7, A minor 7, and back to G. I'm going to leave you to work out your own best way of fingering that. But once you've done so, you may like to compare it to the tab, which is available to members from the link beneath the video screen. Please note that if you work out a way of fingering the descending run that's different from my tab, that's great. Stick with whichever fingering works best for you. And as a parting shot, that's always my general advice to you. Never be afraid to work out your own fingering solutions. But once you have worked out a specific way of fingering something, stick with it until you can play that thing in your sleep. If you've enjoyed this lesson, please click on the like button if there is one, or leave a comment, and do feel free to share the video with your friends. And if you'd like to access all our guitar teaching materials, please visit the Secret Guitar Teacher site and take a free look around at what's available there. See you again soon.